Um,
Hi, Susan.
Hi. Hi, Elizabeth. Oh, I had the hardest day. Like, I'm so
You
glad that I'm with
did?
you. Yeah, because I don't know. Like, I woke up late. I missed my appointment with Doctor's Well. That
Mm.
I almost freaked out.
How did it turn out? I feel like you can do no wrong. I feel like he loves you and he's like, oh, my Susan, it's okay.
But
He's
still,
like, Susan, oh.
oh no, he doesn't deserve that. Nobody deserves it. I just hit snooze, whatever. And then, it was like a whole thing that I had to go through because I was like, why are you so weird when you make a mistake? Like I was ready to like run out in the streets and scream to the skies. Wah!
I I honestly did the same thing when I slept through my alarm when I had a 6 o'clock meeting. And then, but the professor was like, I didn't make it either. So,
Oh, see, okay. I'm so jealous that everyone's gonna see each other this week.
well, not everyone.
I
We'll
know.
see each other.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. We can have our own retreat. Um, yeah, so that happened. Then I drove through the chars of the fires.
Oh yeah, I saw. Oh my God, so sad.
Weird. Um,
Why did you do that? You're like, I didn't have a choice. I was thinking that you were like, oh, let me go see, but that's like,
we were on a field trip for our class and we just decided to go
mm,
for a drive and
okay. You didn't realize you were gonna see all that.
no, we kind of did, but like
Uh,
we didn't know how it was gonna feel.
it was gonna be impactful. Jeez.
Dang, that was hard.
How do you feel?
I feel a little numb again
Mm,
and also a little thawed as well. Like I feel like a little melted as well because it was like after I saw that, that's what made me realize why I'm so hard on myself when I make mistakes. So it was kind of like this full circle thing where I haven't integrated those burned parts of me.
mm-hmm.
Like I saw the fire char, I saw the devastation, and
Mm-hmm.
I had to be with it because there was nowhere else to go. It was all over the place, and just
Mm-hmm.
the nothingness that was left of like our favorite places. Okay. So then I had my coaching call. I rescheduled with Mike, and, I felt guilty, so guilty that I was so embarrassed that I didn't even apologize to his face. Like, ugh. And then it
You'll
was,
figure it out. It's okay.
and then, yeah, and I was just like, girl, get yourself together. You are messy. I'm as messy. And then I was like, okay, so we're messy today. So what? And then
Mm-hmm.
it was like me realizing, okay, you're being messy because of you. I literally put it all together that nobody's doing it. I'm the one who's making myself feel so effed up. And the reason I'm doing it is because my mom's voice, I created my mom's voice to come yell at me and be hypercritical. And then my dad's reaction of like, silent treatment, stonewalling myself. Like I was
Mm,
doing both of them for me because that's what like I was used to.
yeah.
Then it's like, okay, that's still happening. It's
Mm-hmm.
getting smaller and smaller, but you we don't need you anymore for that part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just to like now realize how like I texted you like, okay, the mistakes are the medicine now.
Mm.
Mistakes are the medicine now because okay,
So
so
like you're okay anyway.
yeah, 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 like this thing like I can't go from like 10% being seen to 100% being seen. I have to go from 10% to 15%. to 30%, maybe like bigger increments, but like I'm not going to get there without like some fumble blocks. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't I make mistakes? Like, I was being with myself at the beach yesterday, did like a super long walk, and I never get to do that. So, historically, and I did it and I was exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
So like I added something nice for myself. Like, of course, it's gonna make things different. And
Mm-hmm.
oh well, so I overslept.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. Right, which I know is not, it's not, it's so interesting, right? Because there's, it, when we talk about like emotions and everything needing to be, um, everything like knowing that every emotion has a purpose, it's right, it's the gravity to which we use it or let it use us.
Mhm.
You know, like shame.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, like maybe that feeling is just shows you that you care and that you want it to show up in a certain way and that you respect his time. That's all that is. Like if you had to put the bucket in a buck or in a cup, like everything that this morning was you care, you feel bad because you respect his time and you care about people,
Mm.
right? And you want to be the person that's reliable and shows up.
Yeah.
So if that's what that feeling is. But then what is everything else? Um, and then I guess that's where we're emerging. So mistakes are the medicine.
Mistakes are the medicine.
I love it.
How about you?
Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo. I kind of am at a junction point where, so the modeling thing that I did, and actually I feel like there's so much I could tell you. Like I have the backstory that I have to tell you so that I can explain what I'm saying. So I had a modeling contract before years ago. I did not know how to use it. There's a certain level of skill sets that you should have, and well, if you don't use it, you pretty much go unseen. Like it doesn't really matter if you have a contract. Um, so recently, one of the like models, I was going to say idols, interesting, because I don't feel like it's an idol. I just feel like this is a very iconic person. I'm not a celebrity follower. I don't like there's people that I do admire and there's people that I feel inspired by, but I want to live my own life. I want to live my choices based off of what emerges in me, what inspires me, what comes. And that sometimes is other people, but not like idol, not that level. But so anyway, her name is Coco Roca, and I've been following her since I was young, and I was 16, 17, and that's when she started her modeling career. I was obviously in high school, then I went to college, but um, the reason I admire her is because she's the person that she really paved her own path, and but the importance of the paving her own path in the modeling industry is that she maintained her integrity and her dignity and her self-worth. She doesn't do nudes, she doesn't do sacrilegious things, she doesn't do swimwear. She still was able to be successful. And but the other thing that really stood out to me is that she's very classy. She's like timeless. You can place her in any era and it would work. And I think that's really cool. But really, one of the highlights is that in 2013, she helped pass an amendment that protected teen models. Because a lot of what was happening was like, and I remember being a teenager, an adult would say something and I would do it because I had to. We were taught we had to. Well, they'd be making teenagers take their clothes off on set and kids would be getting sexually abused and then on top of that, she like advocated for like, why are we asking organic bodies to chop themselves down to fit into inanimate objects? It's so much easier to cut the dress than tell
Wow.
someone to cut their body down.
Wow.
So those are the things that make me highly respect her.
Yeah.
Um, and I even told her, like, I had the opportunity to tell her that to her and see, which was amazing. Like that doesn't happen, I mean, that's not true, but that has never happened for me. This was like a wow moment for me. But because of so many years, I think it was literally 20 years of following this woman anyway. Like, if my kids ever wanted to follow someone, I would be like, you can emulate her.
That's
She's
amazing.
good, and I literally got the chance to tell her that, which is what mind blowing to me. But anyway, that was the modeling journey. I had a modeling contract. I had been trying modeling for a long time. Then I got a contract. I didn't even know what to do with it. So fast forward, she created this camp. It's been around for a while, and I talked to her like on video and person, like on video, and like kind of explained that. And at this point, I'm in my 30s, and what the industry says, the word around the street is you can't do it. When you don't look away, you're a certain age, like your career's over and all of that. And she's like, none of that's real. None of that's true. People make these things up. Like, you can be a model till you're 99 because of all the people that
Uh,
have helped change the industry. And I've always loved it because it really covers my creative side, at least a portion of it. And so essentially, having gone to the camp, I learned so much that, like, in 10 minutes or in 4 days, that I hadn't learned over the last 20 years about the modeling industry. And she just brought it. It was raw, it was real, it was something I could actually use. But anyway, fast forward, um I have an interview for another modeling agency like next week, which is cool. I'm excited about that.
yeah.
And and I don't expect necessarily modeling to take over and be my life career, because as I had seen it before, I also work as a consultant, HR, change management, and that's been my bread and butter for over a decade now. And but I like the intellectual side of things. I don't just want to do modeling.
Yeah.
Um, so the junction point that I was making, letting you know about earlier, is that okay, I have this new agency interview. I have my consulting, and then I have steady income as a question mark, right? Because modeling I could do fit modeling, that's pretty steady. Um, but like the things that pay big money, they're not consistent. So then the consulting, I am newer. I did have a major contract recently, but that came to an end.
Mhm.
And so now it's like, if I get a full-time job again, I will have steady, consistent, high-paying income if I stay with consulting. But I won't, with the job, I won't have the flexibility because the modeling happens at the same time as regular work, business hours.
Yeah.
Then consulting is the more flexible one that would pair well with modeling, but the contracts, I have to build and pitch sales and get clients again now. So income wise, the most immediate thing to do is get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ideally, what I wanted to do and my goal had been to have created more clientele while during my contract, but it was a mammoth and it was a lot more than I expected, just because that's just how it turned out. I'm not regretting anything or anything like that. It's just that I was supposed to have three HR people in the department, and it turns out when I got there was only one. So I had to take on that work of those people, the HR director role, hiring the new HR director, doing recruiting. The lawyer, the general counsel, quit during that time. So I had to take on whatever employee relations work he was working on. Then I had the change management side. And then I had my doctorate program, and then I had to provide materials as part of the contract. And they were trying to work like throw other work on me. There was a lot of employee relation stuff. So it was a mammoth. I was barely getting by. Um, so it wasn't, I didn't have the bandwidth to do sales and it was just me because
Okay.
I was afraid to bring anyone on with that contract because it was very intense. It was not a positive situation. I knew that going in, but I also, the leadership, um, everybody got affected by the work environment. And yeah, so I initiated something. I wasn't able to. I did hire the new HR director, the chief HR director, all that stuff. But anyway, essentially that was my goal. That's not how it turned out. So, like I said, that's life. You know, you shoot your shot, you do your best, and then you do what you can after. So that's the junction point I'm at right now. So that's what I have to decide and figure out. So
So the decision is what?
either
Between, mm-hmm. Either,
um
sorry, go ahead.
no, yeah, if you wanna go, you can.
What is your actual desired outcome though?
My heart is with consulting and modeling. That would be perfect, and I could work my own hours.
Yeah.
And um, yeah,
You're you're essentially getting representation for both now, for consulting and for modeling, because you said you
mhm.
submitted your headshot
Yes, I did. I
for
did,
like
and I,
someone to
yep,
represent you for consulting too, right? Wow. So
yes,
you're really trusting. You're in trust right now.
I'm in trust mode. Yes,
Yeah.
and I let before back in the day, I used to be so scared to let people know when I was kind of. I don't think I'm in a sticky situation because I have a really I I have had a hard time trusting people, but I always knew that I would always be good. Like I always had that in my heart. Like my entire life was like I went through the worst feelings, the deepest, lowest moments where I wanted the earth to swallow me or die, literally. And I said after that whatever. The rest of my life is the best, you know. The rest of my life is the best of my life. That's how I truly like deep down inside, no BS. I really feel that way. So I was always afraid to tell people when I was going through something because I was afraid of their judgment. And so I have this cohort or this group of girls that we did camp with.
Hmm.
And so we started doing accountability like messaging and I kind of led that and then after our group session I was a little bit hesitant and but also knowing more information people are like you have strong energy and I'm like I'm a fish in water about it. I'm a fish in water about my strong energy. But I told them I was very open, and I told them exactly what I told you. I said, I love consulting. I've been over a decade in HR. It's been my bread and butter, but now this is the junction point. And in a way, I'm not expecting anyone to do anything for me, but I'm starting to share because people always think that I have it together and that I don't go through these things. And I'm like, no, I go through things. I just don't tell you guys because no one can help me.
Yeah, for real.
So but I feel good that I shared it with them because one of the girls was like, "You have your stuff together." I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna start letting you guys know when I'm struggling with something because I have the way I just laid it out with you is kind of yeah, that's kind of my struggle right now.
Yeah.
So it could be that I'm gonna take a job, but I was completely honest. Like I did have a call with a recruiter, and I was like, "Listen, I love consulting. I like project-based work.
Hmm.
I used to say I get bored easily, but." It's not really that. It's that I have bursts of energy and I'm very focused and I'm just going to accept it. All my life, I've been like, well, human design says um, that's my nature, right? Just like some
Yeah.
Like when we look at flowers in nature or trees in nature, right? There's some that are perennials that they come back every year, and there's some that once they're dead, they're gone, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm the one that once I'm dead, I'm gone. I'm not
Right.
a perennial. I'm not a perennial. So, no, I'm a perennial. Maybe I'm a perennial. Like I have my winter, but then I come back, you
Yeah.
know?
I
I guess
see.
I'm a perennial, you know? But
Yeah.
um but our society and our diagnostics of psychology will tell me that I'm bipolar. Like I am bipolar 2 essentially. Like the light the lighter version. I'm calling it lighter version. Like a high functioning bipolar person. That's literally what they told me.
Right.
Um, and I'm like, well, okay, it's fine. So I'm just honoring that with so that with the consulting because I could do some pretty serious, like great
Yeah.
work,
Hmm.
and but I can't do it long term. I'm not your generator. I'm not sustaining it. I'll get it like I'll create a training, I'll develop it, I'll train people on it, and
Hmm.
then they could keep it going. And I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
And I love it. But when I told the recruiter, I told her, yeah, I want contract work. I like contract work, you know. So I was very honest with her.
Good.
So yeah, and she told me, and I think when I was growing up, oh, this is something I literally said. Oh my God, yes, I want to share this with you.
Yeah.
Um, Today I said like this like prayer and asked for forgiveness to the universe because when I was growing up, like a lot of the messaging that I got from, I'm sorry, it's just the truth. The churches that I grew up in, the communities I grew up in, that
Yeah.
I wasn't worthy, that I wasn't good enough on my own. And I was like, well, I didn't come here to live a half-assed life. I'm taking it. And I would like white lie, like, oh yeah, I've done this before, and all I would do was like go research it and get familiar with it. Because I was not letting anyone hold me back. Like that is what how and it sounds like good, but it's also like, did I create bad karma, you know? And then it would be like, I need to take this job for money, but I know I won't be here in 3 months. And I would be like, yeah, I want to be here long term, 5 years, because that's what they wanted to hear,
Yeah.
just so I could take it.
Yeah.
And so then I literally started crying and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, please forgive me. And like whatever karmic energy I built from the belief that I wasn't good enough and I wasn't worthy. Um, and I released that energy because now I know that I was worthy the whole time and I was just around people who didn't know better. Sorry, I had this like pimple and it's really fun to scratch it. Um, but
Yeah. You put
yeah,
yourself around things that you did so long ago.
yeah. Well, because like I remember there's this job that I took and I loved the people, but it was in New York and my life was in Colorado. And they're like, you'll be here at least 5 years. And I was like, yeah. And I knew damn well that wasn't true, that I was using it as a stepping stone to move to a higher level.
Yeah. And
And I
that's
did that.
okay. It's just part of the game.
Right. But don't you think it's like a karmic, you
I
know?
don't. I don't think it's karmic when it comes to people that are doing a job. I think for me, most
Mhm.
karma I take to heart when it's an actual relationship.
Mm,
But if someone is being paid to do a job and they are hired to find a candidate, you were the candidate. Whether you were going to stay or not, that's a risk that companies take. So this is just all under the umbrella of understanding. You know what I mean?
gotcha. But I lied. I guess that's the point. I lied. I knew that I wasn't going to stay 5 years.
Yeah, I guess I understand what you mean by that, but to me, karma doesn't have to do with what we say. It's the intention behind what we're doing. Because
Right.
we say a lot of things, right? I could say, G damn all the time, right? But I'm not going to get karma for that because God knows I love God. Like,
Mm,
so that's how I reconcile it. The things
okay.
we say isn't necessarily it's the intention, right? So
Yeah.
whatever your intention was to get to your true purpose, to get closer to your
Mm.
true purpose. And that's all God wants for you.
Right. But isn't alignment like not having to do that?
Not having to what?
Not having to say, oh, hey, I'm going to do this, but I know that I'm not going to do it.
Oh
And
yeah,
alignment
for sure.
isn't forcing, because essentially I'm forcing their hands, you know?
No, wait. You forced someone?
I'm forcing their hands. If I said I'm not going to be here 5 years, they probably wouldn't have hired me. Do
Mm.
you know what I'm saying?
Right, but like first, let's just get it clear. If this was actually the deal, you would have to sign a contract. So if you did something that they didn't like, they could easily get rid of you like that in 2 months.
That's
It's too
true.
late.
Yeah.
So it's all clean. It's a clean exchange. You guys are all trying your best to get the job done. That's it.
Gotcha.
Everyone's
Okay.
just trying to get to their purpose. So whether but if you want to hang on to that, that's more what I would look at. Like
I appreciate that.
younger,
It's so cool
you
that
know
you,
what I mean? You were
yeah,
younger. You
yeah,
didn't, you wouldn't have necessarily done it out of a evil intention. Like I can't see you being evil. You were just in survival mode. And we're in survival
yeah.
mode because of society. Because now we don't get to live in the forest in teepees. We have to pay for things. So
Mm.
um I always say to be gentle on ourselves for things that
Yeah,
we did when we didn't know about things like
yeah.
enlightenment and you
Mm-hmm.
know
That's
being one
cool.
with the universe because but the universe is always working for us.
Mm-hmm.
So universe brought you to this point now where you don't need to lie.
Yeah. Well, I told my husband, I was like, if this works out, I am staying through the whole contract. I am not leaving because, um, it's just it's it's a something to carry. But you know what? Based on what you're saying, that's really interesting that you say that because the other day I talked to somebody else from the cohort and they were talking about like I always had this notion of like needing to be myself wherever I went. And she said something like, remember the word, I don't remember the exact word they used. It was like the availability of tools.
Hmm.
Like you have to be, which sounds crazy. It's maybe this is an upbringing and something that I need to look into. We talk so much about authenticity and being ourselves, and it's been a question that I have, like, do I feel better when I can be myself somewhere? But what if I can learn how to use different tools, and not real, but you know, like for example, we could talk 2 hours, but that's not going to work at work.
Yeah.
So I need to be the person that doesn't just flow at work, you know? Like I'd rather be sitting on the beach with you, sipping virgin pina coladas,
Yeah.
like talking about life and oh my God, so fun. Like that's what I'd rather do. My nature is, but then I'm also creative and so I don't know, just I don't remember why I brought that up, but
Well, everything is going to point us to where we're not free, right? So
mm, ooh,
your authenticity might just be calling you to look at, where do you feel more freely, authentically you? Where are you not free? Where haven't you been able to free yourself?
mm,
It sounds like to me you've really been able to carve a way, maybe, just from all of your skills now, you've been able to find a way for you. to, okay, give yourself time now to really find that those positions that are in alignment with modeling and with consulting. Like, this is a big deal. Like, you should feel really proud of yourself that you can now just trust and wait, and it's gonna all come.
Yeah.
You made it. Like, you're free. But
Hmm.
I guess I'm hearing something else. We don't have enough time, but
Oh,
where else
okay.
can we be free?
Ooh,
Is my
I'll look into that. I will
Yeah.
touch base.
All right. I guess
Thank you.
that's it. I'll
I
see you
love
in a
that.
minute.
You're the best.
You're the best. I love you. I'll see you this weekend.
Yes.
Okay, bye.